Hi, I'm Melissa Clark from the dining section, and if you thought that the best pizza you can eat at home was the kind you ordered in, I'm here to prove otherwise. So to make homemade pizza, the first thing you need to do is get your dough. You can make it, there are plenty of recipes in cookbooks, or you can find it online. Personally, I like to buy the dough. You can get it at the supermarket in the freezer section, or just go to your local pizzeria and ask them if they'll sell you a ball. Chances are they will. Before you bake your pizza, what you want to do is heat up the surface that you're going to be baking the pizza on. I have a pizza stone, but you can use an overturned baking sheet. And what you want to do is put it in the oven and then crank the oven as high as it'll go. 500 is how high mine goes. If you're using a pizza stone, it takes a full hour for the pizza stone to heat up. A baking sheet takes about 30 minutes. While that's preheating, you want to stretch out your dough. Now this is the part where you go to the pizzeria and you see the guy twirling it over his head and you think, I can't do that. You actually don't have to do that. There's an easier way. So you've got your dough, it should be cold. You want to just flour your surface. Use a lot of flour so it doesn't stick. Get your dough nice and floury. Now this is the key. You want to move it around. If you keep pressing it in the same place, you are going to glue the dough into your counter, and that is bad. So you want to keep it moving and just press it out with your fingers. You want to press from the center because the edges should be a little bit thicker. And then, this is the fun part, you want to use the weight of the pizza dough to thin it out. So I'm just kind of moving it around, shaking a little bit, almost like driving a car. Another way you can do it is to put your knuckles underneath and stretch it like that. Personally, I like the shake method. Shake, shake, shake. What you don't want to do is use a rolling pin. That is just going to flatten your dough right into the counter. You are not making pie, you are making pizza. No, I'm not going to try it. No. Pizza dough is pretty forgiving. It's not like pie pastry. You want it stretchy. So how do you know when you've stretched your dough enough? When it's mostly translucent all the way in the center, but the edges are still a little bit thick. Here's one thing I gave up when I first started making pizza. The whole round concept. Pizza tastes just as good when it's a trapezoid. So now you've got your dough exactly where you want it. You want to move it onto a pizza peel if you happen to have one. I use an overturned baking sheet. It works just as well. But you want to flour it up really, really well. You don't want your pizza sticking to the pizza peel and then flopping over onto the stone. That will make a mess. I've done it. And then you just move it. What you do is move it around to make sure it's not sticking anywhere. That's all. This is the important thing. When you're making pizza at home, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to pile on the sauce and pile on the cheese. What you want is to have a light hand. You want the pizza to puff up in the oven. And if it's weighted down with too much stuff, it's not going to puff. You're going to be eating melted cheese on cardboard, so don't do it. Here's something that I just learned. Most pizzerias don't use pasta sauce for their pizzas. It's not a cooked marinara that they're putting on top. It's a fresh sauce where they take tomatoes, they put it in the food processor, and they just scatter a little bit on top. You could do it that way. Personally, I like to use real tomatoes and just scatter a few on, and what happens is they get roasted and condensed in the oven, and you get these intense bites of tomato flavor instead of the sauce all over. But you can do it either way. Then you've got to have garlic. You can't have pizza without garlic. It's against the law, actually, in New York State. Olives? Yes, no, maybe. I like them. If you don't like them, don't use them. Chili flakes. Love the chili flakes. Are you an anchovy fan? I'm an anchovy fan. What you want to do though, use good anchovies. Mozzarella. You can use pre-grated, you can buy it and slice it yourself, you can buy fresh mozzarella, whatever you like. The important thing is, use a light hand. And then if you want that extra cheesiness, but you don't want the heaviness of mozzarella, here's a trick. This is a good one. A little bit of ricotta. Ricotta adds a sweet, milky flavor, but it doesn't have that stretchiness of the mozzarella, so it's much lighter. And then just kind of crumble it onto the top of the dough. And it's gonna brown and get really pretty. And finally, a little bit of Parmesan for tang. You could also use pecorino. Okay, so now we're all ready to put this in the oven. You're thinking, wait, you forgot the basil, you forgot the olive oil. I did this on purpose. The fact is, the basil is better when you put it on after the pizza comes out of the oven, otherwise it burns and turns black. And I wait to put the olive oil on until the pizza is already on the pizza stone, because otherwise it'll encourage it to stick. And now into the oven it goes, and this is the scary part, but you can do it. What's important here is to position this tray at the back of the pizza stone. Otherwise, if you do it in the middle, the pizza's gonna fall off. Slide, slide, slide. Woo! A little bit of olive oil. Just drizzle it on. We're gonna bake it for 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna turn the broiler on and set it for another 3 minutes. Be sure to check the pizza every minute. When it looks brown and bubbling, it's done. 3 minutes up, and now turn the oven off, turn the broiler on. The timing on the pizza is crucial. You do not want to get distracted and walk away. Don't turn on the television set, don't start answering emails, and for goodness sakes, do not answer the phone. Sorry, pizza's in the oven, call you back. I'm gonna keep checking it. It's looking good, right? Pizza time. What I'm doing is I'm moving it using tongs to move it onto this tray just as a conveyance to my cutting board. So, a nice oval shape. Not exactly round, but still very attractive. Now, take a look at the back. You can see that it's nice and crispy. And the reason for that is the pizza stone, the heat rising up from it, is what cooks the bottom of the pizza while the broiler cooks the top. This pizza only feeds about one. So, as soon as this comes out, make sure you have your second pie all ready to go in the oven. Slip it in. You and your friend can share this, and by the time you're done with this, the next one's ready to go. Last little touch, put your basil leaves on. You could use rosemary leaves. You know, if it's not fresh herb season, you could take some dried oregano and sprinkle it on the pizza before it goes in the oven. That's good too. Ta-da! Looks pretty good, right? Now, how to cut this thing. If you have one of those fancy wheels, go ahead and use it. You could use a serrated bread knife. I like my kitchen shears. Just cut it up into bite-sized pieces. If you want to make traditional wedges, that's fine. I say any shape as long as it fits in your mouth is good. Now the second it's cut up, serve and eat it right away. The last thing you want to do with your homemade pizza is to put it in a cardboard box and send it over to your neighbor.